Please take out 2 minutes to invite friends, family, colleagues, and other persons you feel will be interested in this session. You can just tap on the share icon, copy the link, and share it to your various contacts. Thank you very much. While at that, I would like to take out a moment to explain what the session is all about. A glass of wine with Pat, merging learning with entertainment, is actually an online educative session under the Sterling Inclusive Education and Development Initiative, focused on promoting child and youth development, gender issues, focused on educative sessions, carrying out sessions on good governance, and the rest of them. The Sterling Inclusive Education and Development Initiative is actually a youth-led organization based in Nigeria that is focused on promoting disability rights, inclusive education, and the rights of other marginalized groups in the society. So our guest speaker is actually here with us. So while we plan on inviting the guest speaker to join us, take out a moment to sit tight, get a glass of water, a glass of wine, a calabash of pete or kunu, whichever makes you happy. Then we'll dive straight into our today's discussion. So for today, we have no other person but Augustina Arome Ame. I will take out a few moments to read out the bio, the profile of our guest speaker for today. Ame Arome Augustina Chidinma is an early years educator renowned for her dedication to nurturing and developing young minds aged 2 to 6. She expertly crafts age-appropriate curricula that enhance cognitive, social, emotional, and physical growth in her students. Her classroom is a vibrant center of creativity where engaging activities promote problem-solving and critical thinking. Beyond academics, Ame is committed to each child's holistic development, providing personalized support through individualized education plans. She fosters a nurturing environment that instills a sense of belonging and self-confidence in every child. Her collaborative spirit has facilitated seamless transitions for over 300 parents from home to school. Ame's commitment to professional growth is evident through her diverse certifications, including TEFL, UNESCO, MGIEP, classroom management, and digital marketing, all earned through scholarships. She has been recognized as Staff of the Year and has achieved a 45% improvement in special education needs within 6 months. She is also an online tutor and the founder of Mom Ducators, Mom Ducators Tribe, a closely knit tribe for moms who are educators. Outside the classroom, Ame is a culinary explorer and an avid traveler, drawing inspiration from global cultures. Her passion for cooking and love for dance infuse her life with creativity, enriching her educational approach and personal endeavors. Wow, an amazing personality we have in our midst today. So, Vic, please, if you can send a mic request for Ame. That's Augustina. I can see the name written as August here. I don't know if you can locate her to send her a request so she could speak.
I just sent an invite to speak. Kindly check your notification, you see it, Madam Augustina. Just
Okay,
accept
thank you.
the request.
Okay, Augustina, in case you can't see the invite request, um, you could also send, you can also tap on the mic icon by the left side of your screen to send in a request to speak. While she's working on that, we would like to hear from you, our listeners. Where are you joining us from? You can use the chat box to send in where you're joining us from, your name, where you're joining us from. Are you an educator? Are you a parent? Are you a development enthusiast? And what you intend to achieve or obtain from today's session. Thank you very much. We'd also like to know if this is your first time of joining us, if you're old, if this is not your first time, if you've been joining our sessions, kindly tell us how impactful it has been for you so far. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome on board.
Okay, okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I can hear
Okay.
everyone. Okay,
Okay,
so I should continue.
please. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, like I started earlier on, good evening once again, and thank you, Patience, for this opportunity to speak on this honorable platform. Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Amearame Augustina Chidima, and I'm an early years educator. Please, I want to apologize ahead of time. It's actually rained over here very heavily, so the network is a little bit messed up. So at any point you can't hear me, excuse me, please. At any point you can't hear me, please let me know so that I can adjust.
All right, that's fine.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Okay, so as I was giving a little introduction about myself, I said I'm an early years educator and I've been doing this for the past 7 years. Yeah, yes, for the past 7 years, teaching early years. I actually major in teaching children between the ages of 2 to 6 years. Yes, and currently, just last year, as I started working with special needs children. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. So should I go on with the lecture for this evening?
Yes, please. You can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we're looking at the topic role of play in early learning and development. The role of play. If we all ask ourselves this question, what is play? How do you play? What do you perceive as play? Because what I perceive as play might not be the same thing another person might perceive as play. So it goes the same way for children. Children love play, quite all right. That's the center of their lifestyle. But what a child might perceive as play at the moment might not be what you, as the adult or their fellow children around them, might see as play. For instance, a child that loves drumming, which is quite peculiar for hyperactive children, children that have ADHD, they love noise making. Okay, you might say that is noise, but to them it's play because that's how they interact. So for them, That child might be drumming on the table or something around them in the classroom or even at home, and the child is playing. And for you as the adult and for maybe other children around them, they are making noise. But to that child, he's playing. So you see, we all have different perception about play. Now, when you come to play in educational setting, is one of the teaching methods that is actually um, recommended for teaching younger children. Actually, in education, they call it playway method. It's a method that you, as a teacher, must incorporate into your lessons if you really want to impart knowledge into the younger generation. Now, I get to see sometimes people say, play, if you start playing a lot with the child, that the child will begin to take you for granted. That's that I don't agree with, because if the play is purposeful, if the play is purposeful, let's underline that word purposeful, that child won't take you for granted. In fact, that fast tracks learning, that facilitates learning. It actually makes the work of the teacher very easy, to the point that you really don't have to go deeper, or let me not use go deeper. You really don't have to spend much time in that lesson. Okay, I'm just talking theory. I just want to set a tone before I go into use myself as an example, practical aspect. Now let's say, okay, earlier this term when we resumed, I was to teach a topic to my children, and the topic is on counting in twos and threes. Skip counting. Now, most teachers will say that, oh, it's a straightforward topic, and okay, as long as your whiteboard or blackboard, as the case may be, is there for you, you and your kids can do it on the board. But I had to think of, how do I bring in play so that these children can actually understand this topic? Because one thing about teaching children is that you must understand the learners in your classroom. Exactly. You must understand them. There are people that will prefer the theoretical method. You just go ahead and tell them skip counting is pass one number, count the next one, and they pick it. And why there are some children, it to sound like logic to them, which is why that playway method is learner centered, is a learner centered teaching method. Now I had to think of how, what will I do to at least make this teaching very simple for them to understand. And I remember that I had this box of chalk in my drawer. I brought it out. I told everybody, move your tables and chairs aside and let's do something funny. And they were all looking at me. So they moved all their chairs and tables aside, and I took out the chalk because it's a tiled floor. Using marker would not really make sense. So I had to use the chalk. I wrote all numbers on each tile. And you know that at that point you begin to see that their imagination begins to, they are wondering, what's my teacher doing? You understand that kind of thing. And they begin to, it's fun seeing me write their level, writing on the floor. And immediately I started jumping, I jump on two, jumping on four, like that. I didn't tell them what to have fun. Okay. Now they began to ask me a number. Remember, I just told them, okay, we are learning today's topic for this morning is going to be this. Fine. Move your tables aside, move your chairs aside. Let's do something funny. That's all I told them. So Curiosity, that play began sort of aroused their interest, and they began to ask me questions. Oh, Miss Augustina, you jumped on this number and you moved to the next, you skipped this one and went to the other number. Why is that? You see, they're already asking questions. And as I answered that question, I told them that when you are counting a so number, and you see, learning has started. I didn't have to do much. And before you know it, I asked each and every one of them to do the same thing. We played around it, we jumped, we enjoyed ourselves. And I told them, okay, arrange your tables and chairs, everybody. And they did that. So then pick out your books, let's count in twos. And I'm telling you the truth that I didn't have to do any other thing on the whiteboard. And they were able to do it perfectly well. So you see, incorporating play in early years learning is very important because number one, it makes learning for you as the teacher very easy. Now, for you to be able to incorporate play, you have to learn how to play. That is the truth of the matter. Because you can't be an uptight person and you want to teach children using playway method. It's not going to work. You have to learn how to play. You have to be very innovative. You have to um, be able to know how to start the play and how to end it, which is very important. And I'll be coming to that later. So you must be, first thing you should know that you as the person taking the children, you must learn how to play, which is very important. Because when children see you that you are coming to their level, they will begin to, there is this relationship that is formed, okay? And before you know it, you don't do much as the teacher. The children have picked whatever it is that you want to teach. Take for instance another example. Just this term, last week we learned something about magnets. So all I did was to take them outside. We had to look for metals, something that can get glued, that can be magneted. Okay, so I got magnets for them. I took them to the playground. I asked everybody, let's sit on the floor. We sat down on the floor. I just gave them a few minutes to ask me questions about anything. What are we doing? They're asking me, what are we doing at the playground, sitting on the floor outside? Like, it was fun for them. And I told them, okay, I have something to show you. Everybody pick out. I gave them metals. Of course, they are safe to use, to hold. Then I brought out my magnet and I told them, can we count? Let's sing this song. The wheels on the bus go round and round. And as they're singing, they sat in a circle form. They placed their metals in front. And I used my magnet and I was moving around, round and round, round and round. And the magnet was doing what? Attracting all the metals. And at the end, I asked them questions. Which was, and they was like, oh, look at what was happening. Oh my God. Okay. And from there, I did little explanation that what we just did now is just did a play using magnets and all that. And I explained the force behind that. And I went back to the class. We went back to the class and I asked them, what is this? What is magnetic force? What is that? What is push? What is pull? What are the things that can attract, that get attracted to a magnet? Voila, it was so simple for them to say it. And that was the end of the lesson for that day. And for the rest of their lives, they will not forget what we learned about magnets. So you see, play is very important because number one, it improves their cognitive skills. When I'm talking about cognitive, I mean their knowledge about something, their understanding about something, general knowledge about a concept. Play helps to do what? Improve that. Then secondly, it brings about critical thinking and reasoning. Remember, I started with the wheels on the bus go round and round. I didn't have to tell them anything. And as I was going around with the magnet, It was attracting those metals. And later on, I gave them the opportunity to do the same thing I did. Now, their curiosity has been aroused. They are able to think and say, okay, oh, so a magnet can attract this to it. A magnet can attract the other one to it. And
Uh, Hello, sorry to interrupt. I don't know if it's my network, but your line, I don't know if I'm the
hello,
only one.
can you,
She's actually flowing big. I guess it's your network.
okay,
Hello?
can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Can others react, please? Can you send in maybe an emoji to know if you're listening to her, you can hear her?
Okay, can I continue?
Please continue. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just like, hello? Okay. Just like I said, so their curiosity is aroused and it brings about critical thinking. So they begin to ask questions that will bring about that critical reasoning in them. So at an early age, you discover that if you interact with some children, there are children that when they ask you some questions, you begin to wonder, is that child really small? No, just go back and check the activities that the child usually engage in. A child that engages more in play, purposeful play, not just anyhow play that play anyhow or like that, but play that is purposeful, that has a purpose, that is geared towards learning. That child thinks faster. That child begins to view the world around them to find out things that are happening, and they don't just ask anyhow question. They think it through before they present that question to you. And if you give them the correct answer to that question, the child, that knowledge sticks. It doesn't leave them. So apart from development of their cognitive ability, it also helps them to have critical thinking skills. Then another thing that play helps is it helps their imaginative skills. Now, what do I mean by imaginative skills? Sometimes I allow my children, I call them my babies, I allow them to come when we are done with the learning for the day. I give them opportunity to come out and tell us stories. Now, when I started this initially in my class, I the main purpose of why I started it was just to build vocabulary. So we have vocabulary lessons every week. We have words that we learn in a week. Then I go ahead to use those words to tell them stories. And then later on, I can just call someone and say, hello, can you come and tell us a story about a bat? Hello, can you come and tell us a story about the jug? Like that, just for them to, and at the end I ask them questions, sound and blend jug, sound and blend this word, sound and blend the other one. Can you make a sentence with that? We are building their reading skills and vocabulary skills, vocab skills. So I was doing that myself. At a point I decided to give them an opportunity to do that. And I discovered that sometimes some of the children don't say anything because they feel like they can't say a story about that. But with time, I began to bring in some things, try to spark their imagination. And one of those days, as I even forgot that they were supposed to come out one after the other to tell stories. They reminded me and I asked them to go ahead. I was not really paying attention, but something caught my attention. That mean the child was telling a story, like she painted a scene. The creative imagination was so, oh my god, permit me to use the word wowing. It was so, I was blown away. Now, how was that child able to come up with that? When you allow children to play purposefully, it helps their imaginative thinking skills. It helps them become creative. Like they can create something for you, can create a scene for you, they can imagine and bring something to life, which is very important, which is one of the reasons why we take children to school. If you're taking a child to school to learn and to know or to develop some certain skills, imagination should be part of them, because if that child is going to be an employer of labor, you should be able to sit down, imagine what he wants to do in that business or in that venture, imagine what he or she wants his life to be. Now, any child that goes through playway method, that skill is highly enhanced in them. I don't know if you are following me.
Yes, we
If
are.
you're following me,
You're
can I
flowing.
get a hi? Hi. Yes, I am.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So it helps their imaginative skills to be well developed. It's very, very important. And it's important that they develop this at an early age. At an early age. So play method is very, very important in early years setting and in training of children. Even if you are homeschooling, you should incorporate play method. Now there are, in this digital age that we have certain digital products that help play with method. We have certain apps, sites, okay, internet sources that you can incorporate as a parent, as a teacher, as a caregiver. We have sites like Starfall. Starfall is very good. It helps you. There are some features in Starfall that are good for play for the child. Then we have this other um, site. Oh God, I'm trying to. That is gamified. Yes, because when you are working with children online, most times, not even most times, you require gamified learning for them, and the online is through games. I'm trying to get the name of that site. Let me. Okay, so can you hear me? Trying to get it. I actually used it this evening. Sorry, trying to create something for my learner.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay,
Although some of our listeners are struggling with network issues, but you're flowing.
okay. So I'm trying to get that other site that is very, very good for gamified learning online with children. I don't even know why
Okay.
I'm forgetting the name. Maybe because it's actually a very funny name. Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Toy Theater. That's the name of the site. Toy Theater. It's
Okay.
there are games, already made games there that you can use in your class and also at home as a parent. Then we also have Word Wall. Word Wall is also good. You can use it to create games that the children can engage in. You can also go on YouTube, get games, And another thing is for you to be able to incorporate play method very well in early learning, you have to research. Like I stated initially, as a teacher, you must understand the different learners you have in your class. So that requires you to research more. Okay? You have to learn to, because there are some children that don't really, although they are children, but play, we have different personalities. That children, most of them are genetic. So if a child is coming from a parent or coming from parents who are always uptight, an environment too matters. If a child is an environment where little or no play is involved, so that child's lifestyle is already like that. And if you come to the class and you're trying to incorporate that kind of play, the child is reserved and doesn't really find what you are doing interesting. to him or her. So you have to research to know the kind of play you can incorporate for that kind of child, so that the child will fully participate in whatever you are doing. So research is very important. Go online, research, find out what other people are doing, be creative with your own, use the resources around you. This is very important. I get questions from teachers, from some parents that claim that, okay, I've gone online, I've researched, and this resource that I'm seeing them using online, I don't have it here. We don't have it here in Africa. I don't have it in my location, in my state currently. What do I do? That means I cannot do it. And I tell the people, look around you. You can improvise. Look around you. There are materials around you that you can use to incorporate play. For example, this evening I was working in the kitchen and my boy came in, my baby, he came in and was holding something. So I intentionally dropped some leaves on the floor, scattered them. I asked him to sit down and arrange. He was just staring at me. So I ignored him and continued what I was doing. Guess what? He was holding a small toy, and the toy was sort of had opening or had a space where you can arrange things. He started picking those leaves one after the other, as tiny as they were, and started arranging them orderly inside that toy. And I was shocked. I was just looking at him. And anyone that doesn't, it was not arranged properly, he will remove it, find another one that can be arranged very well. You can see that that child is developing some skills. So did I have to go out and start looking for what to buy to help that child learn fine motor skills? No, I didn't. I just used leaves and the toys that he has in the house. So look around you. There are so many things that you can use to teach your children in the house. Even even if it's as little as when you are folding up washed clothes, you can help join them with you, allow them to try their hands on it. You discover that the child begins to understand some little concepts that you don't even have to give so much teaching on, because one thing we are so good in Africa is more of teacher centered. Okay, more of adult centered. Let me be the one, but sometimes allow them to discover things themselves. That's where curiosity comes to play. So I would like to stop here now.
Okay, wow. You've done an amazing job. Like, I'm very sure we've learned a lot. Um, we will actually like to hear from audience. So if you have questions, you have contributions, you need clarifications, please send in a request or make a time so we can let you in to speak. Thank you so much, Ms. Agostina. You've done a wonderful job in explaining the role of play in early learning and development to us this evening.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Most welcome. So we're still waiting. Do we have questions, contributions, comments, whatever it is you want to say about today's session? We're open to hear from you. We want to hear from you. While we wait on that, I actually have a question from your bio. Please, could you tell us more about your achievement on the 45% improvement in special educational needs within 6 months?
Okay, I actually stumbled upon. I'm not a special needs teacher, anyways, but
Okay.
I teach at my class. I don't handle special like We have different categories of special needs. I've handled dyslexic, dysgraphia, that's reading difficulty in learn. That's mostly learning difficulties. Okay, I've handled some of them, but I've not really handled an autistic child because they have their special schools. Now, I this session I was given an autistic child and I rejected, to be sincere, because that's another aspect of education. That is a separate job on its own. But when the school authorities insisted that I have to do the job, and of course it's quite complicated. I don't really want to go into what actually transpired. So I started working with this child, and this child, when he came to my class, is quite old. He's the older than everybody in my class. My class age is 5 years, and he's already 6 years old. Going to is 7 now. Okay, and I didn't know what to do because I have never handled such before. So I had to research, I had to reach out to some people, and they actually told me what to do. So I started working with him, and in fact, I don't know whether to call it a miracle or something. I don't know. Don't know that I had it in me. I don't really know. Within a month, the child improved. The child came to my class not knowing how to grab his pencil, no firm grip on the pencil. He doesn't talk, so hyperactive, can't sit in a place. No, he has never in his life called a teacher's name. But within 1 month, he was able to call my name. The day he even called my name in the class, I was like, excuse me, who just called my name? Like, you know, and within that 1 month, we really achieved a lot. Now I've been working with him for 6 months, and there's improvement. The child that couldn't hold the pencil holds his pencil. Child, he couldn't sound. Like, I don't understand. Up to now, it's still so somehow to me. Like, I'm asking myself, what, I don't know how, like, this thing is working really. He can sound, can blend, he can write his alphabets, he can write numbers, identify all of them. So it's really a huge achievement for me because this child is autistic. Now he sits still and he communicates with me. If he wants something, he will come, he will tell me. I give him instructions, he obeys. And this is someone who was not like that. Like, the parents came, each day they come to pick him, they will keep testifying. For the past 2 weeks, I've not really been around in school. And in fact, the first 2 days I was not around, they called me because they told me that it's like, have you left the school, please? Where are you, so that we can follow you? I said, no, I have exams. That's why I've not really been around. I said, no wonder, because they noticed that I've not been around with the boy. So the testimony coming from them is really amazing. And we are still a work in progress. I'm not saying that we've gotten there. There's still so much work to be done on the boy, but currently is a huge achievement for me. And it has prompted me to learn more, pick up courses on special education, mostly for autistic children. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Now, from your clear explanation, you have in all ways shown passion, shown commitment, shown dedication, and resilience. We thank you so much for your drive because one thing is we are advocates for persons with disabilities, especially for children and youth. We are working towards seeing how inclusive education can be fully practiced in Nigeria. By inclusive, we mean where children with disabilities and those without disabilities will sit in the same classroom and learn from the same teachers. So, from your explanation, you have made it clear that Nigeria has a long way to go. The educational system we are practicing has a long way to go. Despite the dedication from some of the teachers, there's still need for teacher empowerment. There's still need for school empowerment, especially in the area of special education. Thank you for what you've done, the incredible work you are doing, and what you've done with that beautiful child in your class. Um, I hope someday we get to visit your school to learn more about your school, your work, and also see the child. And I
That's
don't
no
know if others
problem.
have.
Uh, before
Yeah.
before you continue, one thing I want to say is, first of all, as if you have signed up to do this job as a teacher, I don't know if there are teachers here. If you have signed up to do this job, please do it with the whole of your heart. Sincerely, I was not really impressed from wherever the boy was coming from, because whoever had been with him should have at least done something. And I learned that he was just pushed aside, you know, and treated like an outcast, which I didn't want him to be. My intention initially was, even if I can't do anything because I am not an expert in that at that particular time, even if I couldn't do anything for him, but I want him to feel loved. And whenever he remembers me, remember that I made him feel loved, even if I couldn't help him overcome some challenges. So whenever we find children in our class, if we have signed up for this with all our heart, please don't look at anybody's face. To be sincere, the school is not paying me extra money for that boy. All the materials I use for that boy, I get them myself, just because I want to help him out. I don't know who is going to take him next. I don't know the arrangement with the school next, but for the period he spends with me, I want him to remember me for something good. So if we have this at the back of our mind, I think education in Nigeria will change. That's the truth of the matter. Education will take a new turn. We still have a long way to go in special education, but we can start something within our spaces. Thank you.
Very true. Bravo. Well done, Miss Augustina. Luis Vivian, you're on. You want to speak to us? Kindly unmute. Hello, Luis Vivian, can you hear us? Kindly unmute so we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good
All right.
evening. Welcome on
Yes,
board.
thank you very much. I've learned a lot from the speaker of today. Thank you for coming to the show, Mrs. Arome. Now, I have a question. In your class, from your explanation, you have three categories of pupils. One is the autistic pupil, then the ones that are very hyperactive, that their way of playing seems to be somehow noisy and they look more troublesome than others. And I know some pupils might be introverted as well. So my question now is, how do you manage these categories of pupils? When do you know it's time for this to go and ease themselves in the bedroom? When, how do you keep them quiet in the class to listen to you? How do you manage to control everything, and how do they follow? Do you have a special syllabus for the autistic pupil? Do they all do the same thing at the same time? Because I know in a class some might be more smarter than the others. How do you do everything? I would like to know. Thank you.
Okay. The I actually, my school is not a special needs school. That's why I said I don't really want to go into the details of how the autistic child came to my class. My school is not a special needs school. I am not a special needs teacher. I wasn't trained special needs, but I was asked to handle the child. Okay, it's only one. But in my class, I have slow learners. Of course, we have three categories of learners, apart from those that are physically disabled, they are in another category. We have slow learners, average learners, and the gifted learners. Now, amongst these three learners, first of all, for me, how I handle them, which is what every teacher should start with, you start with your lesson preparation. Now, when you are preparing your lesson, whatever lesson you are preparing, give room, as in let there be an accommodation of all those people in your class. For me, for my slow learners, if I'm giving a definition, I have a simple definition for them, which is so simple that even during assessment, if they give me that definition, I mark it. Okay, then I move ahead to explain further for those of them that are average learners. Then for the gifted learners, you know that when you give such simple definitions, oh, they pick it and they even begin to play with it because it's quite simple for them. Now I go further to give a more elaborate explanation to accommodate the gifted learners. That's for when I'm giving definition. Now when it is time to play, what I do is my play is in stages. All the learners in my class will pass through those stages. I start with the least stage so that it can accommodate the slow learner. Then I move on to their intermediate stage so that it can accommodate the average learners. Then I move on to higher stages of the play so that it can accommodate the gifted learners. Now, I don't push them because sometimes when you try to push them, they get uncomfortable and become how will I put it, restless, mostly for the slow learners. Now, if a slow learner is comfortable at this play, there's no problem. Gradually, you can help them move on. So what I do is I create play across the different learners I have in my class so that if you can't do this, you can do the other one so that everybody is accommodated, nobody is left behind. And at the end, we all learn that concept and get it. But for my autistic child, he's a different category. Okay, he joins us in the play, but he learns differently. So I do double job actually. So that's what I'm saying. Even the school is not paying me for teaching him, but every play he joins us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz Vivian, for your question. Thank you, Mrs. Augustina, for the wonderful response. Like I said earlier, you are really doing an amazing job, and I'm sure there are teachers here who are willing and ready and passionate to learn from you and also improve in their teaching skills. So if you're a teacher, you can just maybe send an emoji to just say hi, anything. You can tap on that heart with plus and just send us a reaction that you're fully with us. And we also have other listeners who are not actually on Twitter but can access the link. They listen to it more like the radio FM the radio FM method. So they can't actually share or react for us to see. So if you're joining us from other platforms, you have our link and you are currently listening to us, we're saying hi and thank you for joining. It has been an interesting session so far on the topic, the role of play in early learning and development. So far, we've learned about knowing the types of play and knowing that there are different approaches to play, and play means different things to different people. So, and how to approach it to make it educative is very important. And it's also important for parents, for teachers to adopt the approach of play in teaching children, especially from age 0 to 6 or 0 to 8, which is the normal foundational learning for children. So, and Well, we've learned from Mrs. Augustina, as you know, as our guest speaker for today. She shared with us some of the impressive and amazing techniques she uses in teaching her amazing pupils in class, and also her beautiful son at home. And some of the merits she mentioned of playful learning are: it improves cognitive skills, it improves critical thinking and reasoning, and it also improves imaginative skills. So she mentioned some sites for children's learning, and the first one of it is toy theater, the other is word wall. And Miss Augustina, I'm actually going to ask you if you could please list the others, because we didn't quite get you then. The network, I think, was fluctuating, so I couldn't get the others you mentioned. So if you could kindly list out those sites once again so our listeners can get it, and of course utilize it in the future. Thank you.
Okay,
Hello.
I can hear you. Okay, I said Starfall. Okay, Starfall has a feature for play that is incorporated with storytelling. You can use that if you are teaching online, because it's very important for those that are teaching online. And we have toy theater, we have word wall, okay, and then you can go on YouTube to pick out some too that you can use. Did we get that?
Yes, gotten. Thank you very, very much. So she
Hello,
also
did we
mentioned,
get that?
yes, we did. Can you hear me? Hello, we did. Can you hear me?
Please,
Hello, Mrs. Augustine.
yes, did you get that? I mentioned them.
Yes, yes, we did. We did. You
Okay.
mentioned word for
Starfall,
YouTube
yes, YouTube,
for
toy
and toy
toy
theater.
theater, yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And part of the summary, she also mentioned that as teachers and of course as parents who are educators and are willing or are passionate about education, it is important to learn how to research more, because we have different pupils with different learning abilities in the classroom. So it is important to research more in order to improve your skills in teaching. She also mentioned it is important to use resources around you. Most of the times, maybe when you visit this site, there's a possibility of seeing things that are strange, things that you can't easily access, but that shouldn't be a hindrance for you not to teach that child or children using that same method, because you can actually improvise by using the things you can access, the resources around you, of which she shared an experience of her, I think, this evening, where she was cooking in the kitchen, and she intentionally dropped some leaves and called her son to come and pick those leaves. And he reacted, but she ignored him, but was observing carefully. And he was holding a toy. The child immediately started picking those little leaves from the ground and was placing them in his toy. So that's more like a motor skill. So this is her using the son's toy and of course the vegetable she was chopping to teach her child um a motor skill. So thank you so much. We've learned a lot. This is more like a summary or a recap to what we've learned this evening. If you have a comment, you have reactions and questions, contributions, we are also open to hear from you. Welcome, Gloria, Jasper, Bamisi, Matthew. We also had Mr. Timothy, we had Barrister Theophilus earlier, and I think we had 7 people joining via other platforms, but I don't know if they're still on, although we can't hear from them at the moment. Um, Bear in mind that this session is being recorded and it will be available on our YouTube page, that is Saidi TV, by next week. Also, immediately after the session, you can also access this same recording using the link we've shared with you before, or by visiting our Twitter handle, Sadie Initiative, to access it and listen to it. In case you were able to remind your friends, or you were unable to remind them of this session, and you feel it is important for them to learn something from this, of course, there are so many things to learn. Please, you can still share this same link with your friends, your family, the teachers in your children's school, because it is very important for not just parents but also for teachers to learn a lot about playful learning. So you can share it so they can access the recording. Thank you. Do we have questions, contributions, because we're about wrapping up? Hello? While we wait on that, we actually have little gifts for our audience. It's been a while we did this. So, do we have MTN users in the house? MTN users, do we have them in the house? Kindly get ready because we're about to share airtime. We'll be calling out the numbers in few seconds. I will do that twice. So whoever wins, please do well to send in a request to speak to us or send in a reaction. So are we ready, MTN users? So the numbers are 8525381154581031. I go again, 8525381154581031. Did anyone get it? We need a reaction before we wrap up for the evening. MTN users, I'm sure MTN is a widely used network. So did anyone get it? We need a reaction. Okay, I'll call it for the very last time. 8525381154581031. Who is our lucky winner? Should, in case you're listening and you won, maybe you're not currently on Twitter and you're listening via other means, please do well to send us a message after this to any of our platforms. It could be Twitter, it could be Instagram. You could also reach out to any of our staff, okay? So we could note that down. Thank you so
I
much,
saw a reaction from
Mrs.
Gloria.
Augustine.
I think Gloria,
Oh,
yes, I
really?
think Gloria won the airtime. I just saw a reaction.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, Gloria. You are a lucky winner. Congratulations. So, thank you so much, Mrs. Augustina. You've done a wonderful job this evening and we've learnt a lot. I'm sure a lot of our listeners have also gotten a lot from today's session. So usually we use this as a means to educate people, just like we're doing right now. And that is why we are going to make this available on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, Sadie TV, it will be available by next week, and it will also still be accessible through this medium for a month. And usually we have this monthly. So we hope you've been impacted and we hope you will join us next time when we are having this session. on a different topic. Thank you for joining. And of course, for the problems that have been mentioned, like the inadequacy of teachers to give out special needs education, we'll work towards seeing how that can be improved in Nigeria. That is why we're in existence, and I'm sure there are lots of organizations who are also working towards that. So stay tuned and look out for possibly our trainings, our events, sessions, and more from us. Thank you so much for joining today's session. Thank you, Mrs. Augustina. We can't thank you enough
Thank you so
for the
much for
knowledge
having
you've
me.
given.
Thank you.
Sure, we'll have you some other time. Thank you. All right. So, this is the time we wrap up, and it's a bye from us. Have a lovely evening.